Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here today. My name is David Failer. I'm Chief of the United Nations Postal Administration. I'll be the moderator for today's press briefing. We're here today to introduce our newest set of UN postage stamps titled Break Barriers, Open Doors. These stamps are being issued in conjunction with the high-level meeting on disabilities and development that is being held here at the United Nations today. It's a extremely important subject, and all of us in the Postal Administration are very proud that we can help raise awareness for this important issue. We have a very busy agenda with lots of things to get through, so let me quickly introduce to you the people that will help us introduce these stamps to the world. First, Her Excellency Ms. Zhang Haidi, who has joined us today. She is chairperson of the China Disabled Persons Federation. His Excellency Ambassador Liu Suji, who is the permanent representative of the People's Republic of China to the United Nations. Mr. Stephen Cutts, who is United Nations Assistant Secretary General for the Office of Central Support Services. Ms. Daniela Bass, who is Director of Division for Social Policy and Development for the United Nations Division for Economic and Social Affairs. Ms. Rory Katz, who is the head of our design unit for the United Nations Postal Administration. And then Josephine King, who is one of our featured stamp artists, and Matt Sesow, who is another one of our featured stamp artists. And our third one did not make it, correct? Okay, so we're going to just leave it at Josephine and Matt. So we're going to break our briefing up into two quick parts. First, we're going to unveil all 6 of the stamps for you, so we can have them as a nice backdrop as we move on and listen to the words of encouragement and inspiration from the others. So to start off with, Ambassador, if you and Mr. Cutts would like to come up and join us up on stage. And we're going to kind of stage you for a picture kind of in the middle, and maybe can you two maybe get a little closer together?
Sure.
Perhaps? How about that?
Wherever. Closer enough?
That's fine. And then I'm going to give you this, and you're just going to dramatically turn it around. How about that? For everybody to see. Okay, so hold it off to the side so we can see your smiling faces. All right, come on. Ready, go. When I hear the clicking stop, we'll move on. We okay? All right, thank you. I'll give this to Molly, and she'll get that. And then you can stay here, Ms. Voss. Ambassador, you can have a seat. And then Rory, if you'll join me. And Josephine, if you'll come up on the stage here. Yeah. And then you guys will... Stephen, go ahead, please. Get in the photo here. Yeah. Right there.
Okay, ready? Gonna turn around? Yep. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, Josephine.
Thank you.
Now I'll ask Matt to come up. Matt Sesow, he's the illustrator for this image. Put Rory in between these two tall guys, right?
Okay. All right. Ready? That's fine. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
And then we have 3 others, and the artists are not here, but I'll ask Mr. Cutts and Ms. Katz to just kind of do these one by one. The first one is by an artist named Chuck Close. All right. And then the next one is an illustration by Sargi Man from the United Kingdom.
Okay.
And then finally, we have a photograph from an American gentleman named Pete Eckert.
Ready? Yeah. Here we go.
Wonderful. Thank you. So those are our 6 stamp images, and we're very happy that we could share them all with you. And now I'd like to first off, let me just quickly explain that Josephine's illustration is titled Tears and Laughter, and Matt's is titled Dive Bomb, and then Mr. Close, his illustration is called Self-Portrait Number 2. So those are our 6 stamps, and now I'd like to invite Ambassador Liu to say a few words on behalf of the Chinese mission. Stand kind of off here, so, you know.
Thank you so much. Your Excellency Zhang Haidi, Chairperson of China's Disabled Persons Federation, Assistant Secretary General Mr. Stephen Katz, Mrs. Danielle Bass, Director for Social Policy and Development, Mr. David Feiler, Chief of UN Postal Administration, Josephine, Matt, dear friends. It is my great honor to attend the launching of United Nations stamp series, Breaking Barriers and Opening Doors. We couldn't have chosen a better moment for the launching of these meaningful stamps. As the United Nations high-level meeting on the realization of the MDGs and other internationally agreed development goals for persons with disabilities has drawn attention from many parts of the world. This high-level meeting is the most befitting prelude of the high-level week of the 68th session of the General Assembly. As world leaders convene here, these stamps send out important and special messages. They embody UN's commitment to the well-being of disabled persons. In this regard, the United Nations has done fruitful work in protecting their rights and helping them achieve development in various respects. The Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities is an important hallmark. Vigorous efforts are underway to incorporate goals for disabled persons into the post-2015 development agenda. China will continue to actively participate in and firmly support these endeavors. United Nations stamps are unique envoys to spread ideas and inspirations. I thank the United Nations Postal Administration for working closely with the Chinese Permanent Mission to the United Nations in issuing stamps featuring the Year of the Snake as well as China's World Heritage Sites. We are glad that they are received very well internationally. The current issue we are launching features the dance Thousand-Handed Buddha and creations of other artists. This dance was performed by 21 artists with hearing or vocal disabilities from disabled persons performing art troupe in China. It showcases the inner strengths of persons with disabilities to overcome difficulties in pursuing their dreams. It highlights the central theme of breaking barriers and opening doors. If the World Heritage Site stamps are about China's ancient civilization, the Thousand-Handed Buddha stamp underlines the economic and social achievements of today's China. It also demonstrates UN's appreciation of China's social development, especially for persons with disabilities. It speaks volumes of UN's dedication to the well-being of persons with disabilities all over the world. China highly appreciates this. Chinese President Xi Jinping has laid out the blueprints for the Chinese dream to achieve prosperity and people's well-being, a dream for all Chinese people, including 85 million with disabilities in China. The Chinese government attaches great importance to the well-being and fulfillment of persons with disabilities. We have charted our way forward and put in place an institutional framework to protect their rights. We earnestly implement the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, actively participate in international cooperation, and contribute significantly to international efforts in this regard. In the pursuit of the Chinese dream, the Chinese government will be firmly committed to help persons with disabilities to achieve a more beautiful life. The Chinese dream will be pursued in working for peace, development, cooperation, and win-win internationally. This is a journey for 1.3 billion people in China to work with the rest of the world for harmony, peace, and prosperity. The Chinese people stand ready to contribute more to this common objective. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador. And again, thank you and everybody at the mission for all the help that you've given us, not only with this beautiful stamp today, but with our World Heritage stamps that we issued this spring and the 6 sites that we featured in our Lunar New Year series. You guys have all been very helpful, and we appreciate that very much. Next, I'd like to invite the United Nations Assistant Secretary General for the Office of Central Support Services, Mr. Stephen Cutts, to say a few words.
Thank you, David, for the introduction. I'd like to extend my congratulations to everyone at the UN Postal Administration for these exciting new stamps, and they really are a wow. I want to thank Ambassador Liu Jie and Ms. Daniela Baz for their participation today, along with Ms. Zhang Heidi from the Disabled Persons Federation of China. We appreciate you coming here to help us share the message of these important stamps. It's wonderful that we can feature the world-famous Disabled People's Performing Art Troupe from China as part of this program. Their work and performances are legendary. And of course, a big thank you to the artists who have joined us today as we launch these brand new United Nations postage stamps. It's wonderful to have artists Matt Sesow and Josephine King with us, along with Andrea Glimcher from the Pace Gallery, who represents Chuck Close as part of our launch for these beautiful stamps. Josephine and Matt, it is a thrill for us to have your work featured on postage stamps that will be seen around the world. We are grateful you've been so willing to share your talents, and our considerable talents, with us on this project. Since its inception, the United Nations Postal Administration has always operated with a mandate to disseminate information on the activities and achievements of the United Nations and its specialized agencies through the medium of postage stamps. Since 1951, the United Nations has been issuing stamps to provide a philatelic window on the work of the organizations and its efforts to promote peace. These miniature works of art are not just small pieces of paper. They provide a powerful communication tool which help visually to draw attention to the varied and many causes in which the United Nations is involved. The beauty, uniqueness, and special significance of the United Nations stamps, combined with their individual, often intriguing stories, continue to be a source of fascination and great reward to those who admire and collect them across the world. Today's issuance is another example of how postage stamps have a unique ability to tell a story. In this case, it is a remarkable story of talented artists who, despite obstacles, have shown us how to be achievers. Their successful expression of creativity is an inspiration to people around the world who will see these stamps on cards and on letters. Much of the discussion during today's high-level meeting on disabilities and development focuses on how to overcome barriers and open doors for people with disabilities. The artists featured on these postage stamps show what can be achieved when that happens. Congratulations again to all of the artists for helping us to raise awareness for this important and worthwhile cause. On behalf of the United Nations, we are truly excited to add these postage stamps to our international collection. And thank you all for joining us this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen, and for all your support. At this point, I would like to invite Ms. Zhang Heidi, who is the chairperson of the China Disabled Persons Federation, to say a few words. Thank you.
尊敬的卡茨助理秘书长，尊敬的菲勒局长，尊敬的巴斯女士，各位记者朋友，亲爱的女士们、先生们，大家好！感谢联合国邮局为纪念此次 联大残疾与发展问题高级别会议而发行彰显残疾人尊严和价值的纪念邮票。
Mr. Katz, distinguished Mr. Fehler, distinguished Madame Bass, dear friends from press, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I sincerely appreciate the United Nations Postal Administration for issuing this set of commemorative stamps, echoing the UN General Assembly high-level meeting on disability and development. This commemorative issue highlights the dignity and value of people with disabilities.
邮票自诞生以来便肩负着邮资和文化传播的作用，双重作用。联合国邮票描绘了联合国大家庭的宗旨和成就，既是微型艺术品，也是传递和平、友爱的使者。
Since its inception, the postage stamps have taken on a dual function of postage and cultural messenger. The UN stamps have illustrated the aims and achievements of the family of the United Nations. They are not only miniature works of art, but also messengers of peace and friendship.
这套主题为“戳破残疾障碍，积极面对人生”的纪念邮票，将中国残疾人艺术团的舞蹈作品《千手观音》纳入其中，充分体现了联合国邮局对于中国残疾人事业的特殊艺术的赞赏。
Focusing on the theme of Break Barriers, Open Doors, the set of commemorative stamps issued today includes the image of Thousand-Hand Bodhisattva, a dance work of China Disabled People's Performing Art Troupe. This move signifies that the UN Postal Administration highly recognizes the achievements of the work for people with disabilities in China, as well as the special art created by this social group.
千手观音由中国残疾人艺术团21位聋人演员表演。诞生于1987年的中国残疾人艺术团，承载着残疾人的梦想，以特殊方式塑造艺术，创作了大型表演艺术作品《我的梦》，以及其中的舞蹈《千手观音》。它将美奉献给世界，每年在10多个国家演出150多场，至今已经巡演了81个国家。带给观众艺术的享受、心灵的启迪和情感的交融。
The dance Thousand-Hand Bodhisattva is performed by 21 hearing-impaired dancers of China Disabled People's Performing Art Troupe. Founded in 1987, the China Disabled People's Performing Art Troupe carries the dreams of people with disabilities and pursues art in a special way. Its large-scale music and dance stage performance, My Dream, that includes the dance Thousand-Hand Bodhisattva, has created a worldwide sensation. The performing art troupe presented My Dream at more than 150 performances during its tour in over 10 countries each year. It has brought beauty, inspiration, and joyfulness to the audiences of 81 countries so far.
它将美传递给人间，开展大量公益义演和文化交流活动，并将商演收入设立了我的梦的基金。5年来，捐赠的国内外慈善事业是930万人民币，83万美元。
The performing art troupe is also committed to philanthropy. It has engaged in many charitable shows and cultural exchange activities. Its My Dream Harmony Fund has donated 9.3 million RMB and $830,000 to various non-profit projects at home and abroad since the establishment of the fund 5 years ago.
中国残疾人艺术团用爱和尊严打动观众，被誉为联合国教科文组织和平艺术家。 中国残疾人艺术团以自身的发展历程，展现了中国残疾人事业的成就，向世人传递了一切生命都有尊严、一切生命都有价值的理念。
The troupe's high artistic attainments and the inspiring spirits it upholds have won it many rewards and honorary titles, including the UNESCO Artist for Peace. The growth path of China Disabled People's Performing Arts Troupe reflects the remarkable progress of China's work for the development of people with disabilities, and it demonstrates to the world that everyone deserves to live a life in dignity, and every life is invaluable.
今天，联合国邮局发行彰显残疾人艺术成就的纪念邮票，体现了平等、参与、共享的价值观念，以及促进残疾人融合发展的崇高理想，对保障残疾人权利、促进全球残疾人事业发展具有深远的影响。
Today's commemorative issue by UN Postal Administration, highlighting the achievements of the artists with disabilities, underscores the vision of equality, participation, and integration, as well as the concept of social inclusion. It will surely contribute to the promotion of rights of people with disabilities and the advancement of disability movement across the world.
在此，我谨代表中国残疾人联合会和中国8500万残疾人兄弟姐妹，向联合国和联合国邮局致以崇高的敬意。中国残联将一如既往继续支持联合国工作，并愿与国际社会一道，为残疾人融合发展而进行不懈的努力。
For this, as chairperson of China Disabled Persons Federation, on behalf of the 85 million people with disabilities in China, I express my heartfelt gratitude to the United Nations and the UN Postal Administration. We in China will continue to support the causes of the United Nations and join the steadfast concerted efforts of the international community for the inclusive development of people with disabilities.
Thank you. 谢谢。
Thank you again for being with us today. We appreciate it. Next, I'd like to invite Ms. Daniela Boss, who is Director of the Division for Social Policy and Development for the United Nations Division for Economic and Social Affairs, to say a few words.
Thank you. Good afternoon, I guess. I've been running since 5 this morning, so honestly, I lost the track of time. Your Excellency, Ambassador Tang, Chairperson of China Disabled Peoples International, Your Excellency, Ambassador Liu, Permanent Representative of China, Mr. Stephen Katz, I have to wear my glasses, I'm sorry, Mr. David Fowler, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, they wrote here, good afternoon. They knew that I was going to get lost. First of all, on a very personal basis, and then I will have again my hat as Director of the Division for Social Policy and Development, which, as you know, is in days at the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs. And we are so much honored in my division to have the focal points for the whole United Nations system on youth, aging, family, disability, and indigenous persons. It's quite a big division, I have to say. So, but on a personal basis, see, I'm Italian, and I think that Italians, many, many centuries ago, had a very special relationship with China through Marco Polo. So, after so many centuries, we meet here again, exchanging culture. And these stamps are not just stamps, and they're not just beautiful pictures and paintings. They are a message of culture. Culture is changing, and that's actually what is breaking barriers and opening doors. It is not so much barriers in terms of architectural barriers, but the first barriers that we have to break are cultural ones, prejudices, stereotypes, etc. And I think that the stamps and the colors that have been chosen are colors of light and life and joy, and they're very empowering. And this is another very important aspect. I think that these stamps are highlighting the empowerment of people with disabilities, providing tools to be educated, providing tools to have the health services needed, providing tools to move around and be able to be here where we are today thanks to improved transportation, etc. So all this is what I call empowerment of persons with disabilities. And many years ago, back in 1988, when I was a little bit younger, I do remember that there was this group coming from China, and they were dancing and singing. Interesting. And in those years, I was working in Vienna in what used to be called the Disabled Persons Unit at the Center for Social Development and Humanitarian Affairs that has been dismantled, and now we are here in New York. And I do remember I was a junior professional officer helping many artists coming from different parts of the world to organize a joint venture gala between the United Nations and the famous theater in Italy, La Scala. And I remember seeing the performances of various artists, including yours, and it was magnificent. So, on behalf of DESA now, and in my capacity as director of the division, I congratulate the UN Post Administration, the government of China, and all contributors for organizing this event and issuing this set of beautiful stamps in commemoration of the high-level meeting that we are having right now. The beautiful dancers on the stamps that we just unveiled refresh my memory of cooperation with our partners in China, as I just mentioned right now. And I'm pleased to note that China has been adopting a disability inclusive policy over the past 5 years. Wonderful. Efforts and progress have been made in building 2 sets of systems on social protection and public services, and these have benefited more than 10 million persons with disabilities so far out of the 85. So it's a huge progress. I also heard from official sources that over 20 million women and men with disabilities got employed at the end of 2012, last year in China. This is amazing. All these are commendable achievements. Ladies and gentlemen, the theme of this event, Breaking Barriers and Open Doors, fits perfectly with the high-level meeting, and it's very dear to my heart. Globally, too often, persons with disabilities encounter many obstacles and barriers from various forms, as we said, barriers related to physical environment, transport and information communication, as well as negative attitudes and discriminatory practices. This causes them to be deprived of equal opportunities to participate in and contribute to society and development. Contribute to development. So far, we often talk about vulnerable groups of people or people with disabilities who are vulnerable in need of help. We should think of persons with disabilities as resourceful groups of the society. Because if people with disabilities are, first of all, persons, we focus on the person. All persons have the same rights and the same duties. And if all persons are given similar tools, they can really make a change in the world. And they can help governments and countries to reduce poverty. Because if you don't give these tools to persons with disability, they will become poorer and poorer. Their families will be much poorer, okay? And the governments will suffer because of this. Instead of enriching their countries, they're making their countries more poor. So we have to do something to reduce the gap that exists in causing these inequalities. And even through STEMs, we can achieve that. Thank you very much. Thank you again for your work. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Voss. Really, I appreciate the personal stories. Thank you so much. We're going to meet the artists for a little bit. I know, Ambassador, that you probably have things that you need to get to, and Ms. Voss, I know you've been up since you've been here since 5 o'clock in the morning. So you're welcome to stay with us, but I know that if you need to go, you can go.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, if you want to go out this backside. You can come out this way. Thank you again for your help. Next. Give us just a second. Okay. Thank you again. Thank you. Appreciate you being here with us. Good luck with the rest of your day.
Oh my, they're waiting now for me somewhere else.
Okay, with that, I'd now like to introduce Rory Katz. Rory is the head of design for our UN Postal Administration, is really the designer of these 6 postage stamps who worked with the artists. So please, Rory Katz.
Hi. Well, I want to thank everyone for coming, and especially my artists. The first thing that people ask me when I tell them that I design stamps for the UN is, how do you decide what goes on them? And it's always a challenge to create beautiful pieces of art that also tell a story. And for this issue, I struggled with how to come up with something that was going to be beautiful and uplifting and really show how powerful stamps can be. And so what I did was, it finally came to me just to feature works of artists with disabilities. Being an artist at all is not easy. When an artist shares their work with someone, they share a piece of their soul. Always remember that when you look at art. The artist is giving you a very special and personal gift. And that is the message that I wanted to convey with these stamps. I wanted you to look at these and see ability, not disability. It has been an honor and a privilege to work with this group that has come together to make these beautiful pieces. And I thank you very much, Josephine and Matt, for coming today. And the artists that couldn't be here as well. So thank you very much.
Introduce. At this point, we'd like to, Josephine, if you'd like to say a few words, and then Matt will have you come up and say a few words as well.
Hello. I'm really, really honoured to be here. It's absolutely amazing. And I'd like to thank Rory and all her colleagues for inviting me to be part of this fantastic project. It's absolutely amazing because usually I'm in my studio working alone, hours and hours and hours on end on my paintings, and trying to bring across what it is like to be suffering from bipolar disorder. That's my mental illness, and so it's absolutely incredible that that is now on a UN stamp, because for me that means that it will raise awareness for not only my illness but all the disabilities in this fantastic group of stamps. And that's what I've been doing in the last 5 years, is putting all my feelings, my deepest feelings, into my paintings through words and intense colour, and getting putting the message or my experiences across, how it is to live with this illness. And now I feel today it's just gone worldwide, and it's absolutely amazing. And so thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
And then finally, I'd like to ask Matt Sesow to come on up and say a few words. I know Matt's excited about his stamps as well, so come on.
Thank you. Thanks, Dave. Wow, this is the best day for me as an artist. Let's see. So I guess I mean, thanks, Rory. I mean, when I first received the email from her, I think it took like 3 or 4 tries to get to me, because I thought maybe it was one of those, she was trying to get my credit card information or something. It was too good to be true. I was like, no way. And anyways, I've been painting. I lost my my arm and my hand in a accident when I was 8 years old. I was playing outside in rural Nebraska, hit by an airplane. An airplane was landing, and actually the propeller severed my left arm, and they had to take my hand off in the hospital. And anyways, I grew up fairly normal, I guess, as much as I could, and went on to get some really great family supporting me and everything. Went on to work in the corporate field at IBM. I was a software developer, engineer. Never painted before, never wanted to paint, never had any desire. And then when I was just around 27, I picked up a paintbrush, and I haven't stopped since. I'm 47 now, so I guess 20 years. And just to be included with this great group of artists, and I mean, this is the highest honor for me as an artist. Thank you. And my wife, Dana. Thank you too, Dan Allen. So anyways, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I guess the thing I really want to say is that art for me has been a way to heal, a way to express emotions I haven't been able to. I'm an emotional guy and a big body. But art is everything. So thanks, David. Thanks for
Thank you, Matt. That'll conclude our briefing today. If there's any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them afterwards. I'll answer the biggest question that most everybody has, especially those that are watching live on UN Web TV, and that is, how do you buy these beautiful stamps? Well, you can come to our post office in New York here at the United Nations, or at our office in Vienna or Geneva, or you can go to our website, which is www.unstamps.org, and you can buy all 6 of these wonderful stamps in the 3 different currencies that we issue them in. So thank you all for being here today, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thank you. We're done. Want to take some pictures?